I record and I'm recording. Good afternoon. Today we are doing 4C. So last time we did Furby. Furby was a little gremlin, but 4B was about interest. So that was sort of the Rip Van Winkle problem. You've probably already seen the formulas for all these. It's all on the same formula sheet. But last time we did simple interest, we did compound interest. We did a thing called annual percentage yield, which is all right. It's fine enough, but I think really like focusing on what simple interest, compound interest. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we did in that section. I think that this one is the one where the annual returns comes in. Yeah, this section's where the returns come in, I'm pretty sure. So we didn't do that last time. This time around, so last time it was like Rip Van Winkle. So you're putting in some money amount, you're not doing anything to it. You're just leaving that account alone. You're just falling asleep on it. You completely forgot you had the account. You go back and you get the money out. Kind of like that episode of like Futurama, right? Watch that. There's an episode where Fry has a bunch of money because of it. But that's the sort of section 4B. 4C, we're going to do something a little bit different. And if you saw the equations, you probably noticed they introduced this new variable called PMT, or we might say that's a payment. So these we're going to make some sort of deposit, and we're going to continue to make some sort of payment probably every month, but it could be different, right? But in general, we're probably going to make payments every month. We tend to pay bills every month. We tend to get our paychecks like probably bi-monthly or monthly. Depends where you work, I guess, but tends to be on a month-to-month sort of basis or some kind of division of month-to-month. I think mine comes monthly, if I'm being honest. I don't know why I'd be dishonest about that. It's not a big deal. So what are we doing now? So we have this formula sheet. So last time, and this might go back over it. So I didn't even put a formula on here for simple interest. So for simple interest, it's the what? APR times the principal times the amount of years gives you the total interest. Then you have to add it back to years. I'm not even sure the book gives you a formula. I had to go look back at the book, to be honest. So this is compound interest paid once per year. This is compound interest. If it is not paid once per year, we have to throw in a number. So this is like it's paid monthly or something. We'd throw in 12 to the n. And so I'm going to highlight maybe a little fact with this. I know we went over this last time, but n is the number of compounding periods per year, or the number of times interest gets paid per year. Same thing. Y is the number of years. So there are two sort of like time variables in these things. And I know that can be kind of confusing sometimes. But just note like n is a time sort of variable. Y is also a time variable. But Y is the number of years, and then n is the number of times per year. We didn't even use this, but you should be able to do this. You should be able to find lowercase e somewhere. I believe there's something like that on your quiz, hopefully, if I did it correctly. It should be something that we do go over it. We won't go over it in the homework probably. But it is something you should know. This is Euler's number. That's why we use the E. I think I talked about that guy, but he's like EULER, right? Euler. That's the guy's name. I guess I should capitalize it since it's a person's name, but I wanted to show where the variable came from, I guess. But for the longest time, I called that guy Euler. So don't do that. Call him Euler. I think today we're going into savings plans. So these are for regular payments. You don't want to try to figure out something that has different payments. It's going to be really complicated, especially by hand. So if we look at this, I think we're going to use these two and these two today are the new ones that we're using. I think we might jump back to these for a problem or two. But if you look, I believe this one is solved for the accumulated amount. So if they're asking us for the accumulated amount, we probably want to use this one. This one's solved for payment. So if they're asking us what payment we need to use or what payment we need to make, we probably want to use this one. Total return and annual return. This is just basically relative difference and then something kind of crazy, but it's doable. Any questions about this? I didn't even start with the question, did I? So your goal is to create a college fund for your child. Suppose you find a fund that offers an APR of 5%. How much should you deposit monthly to accumulate $170,000 in 15 years? Okay, so what are they asking? How much should you deposit monthly? Which one would that be? Accumulated amount or payment? Where are we at? Two people?
I'm almost done with the problem.
Sorry, so many little numbers to put in.
Yeah, there are quite a few. So if we're looking at this, I think they're saying how much should you deposit monthly? I think that's going to be a payment. This is giving me accumulated amount. This is giving me the Y or the number of years. So let me look back at this. So my payment equals accumulated amount, which is what, 170,000? And then I'm doing what? APR, I believe, was 5% in this problem. Is that what they said?
I think I did it right. I did the PMT is like payment. Is short for payment, right?
Yeah. And so we want to find payment. My principal is 170,000. My APR is 5%, so I have to convert that to what? 0.05. I believe I'm making monthly payments here. I'm doing 1 plus, and my APR is still the 0.05 over 12. The NY is going to be N is 12. My number of years here was 15, I believe, right? Yeah. And then I have to subtract 1. So I do have some order of operations. I got to do these things in the right order. And again, I would not round until after you take the exponents. So don't round before your exponents. Or round as little as possible, I guess. If that makes sense. Okay. Hopefully this is close enough. And I said, I think to the nearest dollar, just so we're all kind of in the same ballpark. Oh. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Where are we at? 3 people? Okay. I'll give you a few more seconds, but I mean, I think it's good practice to do these things. But if I'm being honest, if I go take out a loan, like I'm not gonna. I might plug it into this formula, but I guarantee you, I'm also gonna go plug it into Google, right? And like make sure I didn't mess up some more. Definitely gonna use technology to solve these if I had to do them. I don't know. I'm not a big enthusiast of, I guess, finances. Finances just seem like really kind of by the book. I don't know. I like stuff that makes me think a little more critically about things. Although there are a few interesting problems they throw in. But I also feel like a lot of those some of the stuff they throw in is just like, well, this was made for a math class, kind of. Okay. What did I get? 636. You're not telling me. Oh man.
Yeah, I might have used the wrong equation or something. Like, I don't know what I did wrong.
When it showed me 636, I'm like, wait a minute, what did I do?
I guess 636, 637, that should be good. I mean, just like looking at this problem though, right? We want to get, like, read the problem. We want to get 170K over what, 15 years? If you're telling me something that's over 170K, I think some of y'all did this equation maybe.
I did the one next to it.
You should do this one to find the payment. If you do this one, and I know I said there's two equations, but I kind of lied. This is kind of the same equation, just solve.
Oh, I used the wrong equation. Okay, that's what I did wrong.
Yeah, you're gonna get way more because you're putting in a payment of 170K, and this is the amount we want to accrue. It's like, yeah, you're going the other end of it. It's gonna be way more than that. So don't do that.
170K for A.
I think if you're doing 353, then you probably did the other equation. But even if you're doing 80K, like you're making 12 payments a year for 15 years, like to get to 170K. Like, I mean, if you're getting, I don't know, 12 times 15 is how many payments? 180 payments to get to 170K. So, you know, if you're making over 1,000, right? If you made payments of 1,000, you'd already be at 180K without interest. Just like making those, just putting that aside, not even into an account. So
does it show?
Stepping back, and did not show correct responses?
No, it did. I was just like wondering for, it says in the problem A times whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For A, you put in
that one?
Okay, so I did do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I see where I messed up.
Yeah. See, I got it broken down.
By 12.
I got it broken down step by step. So if you did mess something up, if you didn't do this, like try to do this before I do it. I don't know what to say, right? But like try to get it, like try to fix it. This is your opportunity, and we'll go through these things. But like, we gotta get these order operations away too, right? I think I'm gonna divide this first. I'm going to divide this and add one here. I'm going to multiply these. That's probably the three things I'm going to do right off the bat.
Why do you multiply the number of years by 12? Is it because of the 12 months?
Yeah, 12 months in a year times 15 years gives you the total number of payments that you're making. Okay. So just like when we had compound interest, this was the total periods of compounding. This is going to be the total payments now. But it's the same sort of concept. It's the number of compounds per year times the number of years gives you the total number of compounds. And so I divided this. I got something like 0.00416, probably repeating. I got the same thing down here with the 1 attached to it. I got 180 as my exponent. So I want to multiply these two things, I think, next. And I want to do this exponent. So if you have to do this in more steps, power to you, do it, and however many steps it takes you. But you should probably be doing it in at least as many steps as I'm doing it. That's just kind of my advice. Because the question is always like, well, how much work do we need to show? It's like, well, how much credit do you want if you get something wrong? You know, it's like, it's either all wrong or all right if you just put a solution. And, well, if you just put a solution, I'm probably going to count off from not doing work, if I'm being honest. I need to see some work. At least a little bit. Okay. So when we raise 1.004167 to the 180, it should give you this crazy 2.11 number. So this is a good time to calculator check. Whatever device you're going to plan on using on the test that's not your phone, you should have that for class, hopefully, and be following along.
It's a little hard to show all the work because there's only so much space to put the answer on the homeworks. Tiny margins.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it on your own paper, though.
All right, I'll do that next time then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just write very tiny.
Is it going to flip to the next one? Next, come on.
Sometimes it becomes a mess.
I was going to skip 2 pages, probably. Hopefully not. I think we're on 26 now, right? Hopefully I fix this one.
Yeah, we're on 26 right now.
Okay, I think this is pretty similar. I think at age 20, when you
I messed up the photo.
This one?
Where it showed all the steps.
In the previous slide, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, please.
I gotta get out of big view is what I gotta do. Okay. This one?
Yes.
It'll be on video too.
Okay,
Go back, look at the video.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right, so the next one, I think it's going to be pretty similar. They're going to give us a bunch of information. Pretty sure it's going to be a savings account because this section's all about savings accounts. So at 20, when you graduate, you start saving for retirement. Oh, look right there. We're doing a savings account. If your investment plan pays an APR of 4.5%, they're giving me APR, and you want to have 2.5 million. So we want to end up with 2.5 million. I think that's giving me what? An accrued amount when you retire in 45 years. I think this is giving me my Y here. So how much should you deposit monthly? And how much should you deposit monthly, since it sounds like they're asking me probably for a payment. And so I think I'm filling in my information. Let me see. My accrued amount, I believe they said what was 2.5 million?
Are we still using the same equation from the last question?
Ooh, I think it might be. I think it might be very, very similar. So I believe my accrued amount, accumulated amount, I think is what they call it, right? That's what it's called. Accumulated amount, accrued amount, same difference. Is 2.5 million. I believe my APR is 4.5%. So I got to convert that to a decimal. I believe they want to know about monthly payments. So I think that gets to that part. I think this looks very similar with a 4.5% interest with 12 months. 12 months. And we're doing this for a long time. From the age of 20 to the age of 65, I think is what he's done. 45 years is how long I'm doing this. This is my retirement fund. I want to be a millionaire. I guess he wants to be a millionaire every time he retires. 2.5 million. I guess. Um,
I wish my calculator came with a million button so that way I can just hit it and it'll automatically know it's like, oh, it's a 2.5 million, not 2.5.
you could do 2.5 capital E6. I think that
Oh,
would do it.
cool.
My brain is just trying to.
Because that would put it in like the scientific notation times 10 to the 6.
But it has 5 zeros.
Yeah, but that has 5 zeros because you go past that 5.
Well, okay.
That takes
then.
up one of the 0 spots. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Please let me have the right number this time.
You're going 6 spots over, but there's a 5 there, so it only has 5 zeros. Yeah. Yeah, I fixed this one. This is the right answer. Got it. So nearest dollar. I believe this one you got around up, up, up.
I got it right because I rose up in rank.
Oh boy, man. Yeah, so this is why I was encouraging y'all to be active last class. These formulas, they get a little more complicated each turn, I think.
Yeah, plus I'm a slow typer, so it's like, give me a minute. I'm gonna need like an hour tops.
I'm just like, I try so hard to make sure I'm not putting in any numbers wrong, so it takes me longer. And then I'm like,
Oh, same, because like sometimes my calculator doesn't, like I'll push a button, but it will never read it. And I'm like, gosh darn it.
There's a good program you can use, not for your test, but so I guess that didn't help you too much. But
Yeah.
it might help you in other aspects of your life. You don't know about Wolfram Alpha?
no.
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you can do this. And so like you have like, I don't know, a bunch of crazy stuff, 0.05. And you don't really know how it's going to come out, maybe, you know, divided by, I don't know, 45. And then maybe I want to put parentheses around this, 1 plus or something. So I don't know what this is doing, but I can do this, and then it will tell me what it did in my calculator. So it will actually show you how it inputs. So that's kind of really useful.
That sounds useful.
The weird thing you can do is like, does it have a height of a Hoover Dam? Yeah, see, it has stuff like this. You can do the height of the Hoover Dam by the height of Eiffel Tower. Is that spelled correctly? Oh, look, and then we can get some crazy square feet. I don't know. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but if we had an area that was the height of the Hoover Dam by the height of Eiffel Tower, that's how much area it would take up. It gives you a lot of useful stuff. It even converts it to other stuff. If you pay money, they give you even more stuff. But the free version is pretty decent. I think I paid like $2 for the app or something like that. It's not super expensive, you know. And you can have the app on your phone, which you can't use for your test either. So you're welcome there.
Like, my problem is just trying to remember what goes where. That's my problem. And sometimes I want to just get rid of one number and then I accidentally clear the whole thing. And I'm like,
Yeah, I would write it down like step by step. That's my best suggestion on that. I'm not expecting you, excuse me, to memorize these formulas, right? These formulas will be provided. I'm not trying to get you to memorize stuff in this class, to be honest. I'm trying to get you to learn, not rote memorization. Oh man, where are y'all at? Do I need more time on this, or y'all just being lazy? That is the question. Give me 30 seconds or so. There's 4 people in class that aren't even participating, man. That. Well, drop date is the 26th, I believe. The final drop date. Okay, we gotta start moving on. What are y'all 3 doing? And the other ones. Daikon Dolores, 1432. Oh man, what we all were saying? 1412, 42, 1432. Okay. I don't know where the 1242 came from, but I got that previously, so I don't know why. I don't know if it says that in the back of the book, maybe. It should be 1432, right? I believe. And so I think we're using the same formula. This should hopefully be what you plug in, 2.5 million. And we have what, 4.5% over 12 times 45. So what did I do? I divided these and I multiplied on the top. If you divide these two numbers and multiply, we should get a good round even 9375. A lot of times it's easier to do that with this equation. You get a nice round sort of number on top. And the other thing I did was 12 times 45 gives me 540. If I divide these two numbers, it gives me this little fraction, 0.00375, and I'm tacking on a 1 to it. And so when I do this to the 540, it should give me 7.5 something. I subtract those two numbers, it's 6.5 something. I divide those two numbers, I should be getting 1431.85. I rounded up to 1432. Questions about this one? Yeah. I think this is the weird one, but they kind of go over one in the example in the book. Comfortable retirement, this is what it is. Suppose you are 30 years old and would like to retire at 60. So we got 30 years of savings is what it sounds like. Having accumulated a retirement fund from which you could draw an income of this 100,000 per year forever. How much would you need to deposit each month to do this? Assume a constant APR of 6%. So in the book, they kind of talk about this. But we want to know how much would you need to deposit. So we are doing the payment formula again. But this is not the accumulated amount we want. We want to be able to draw this from some amount. So how do we draw this per year forever from some account? We do that by letting this just be the interest. And so if this is just the interest, if this is the amount of money that I'm making in interest, I can take this off the account. I can just leave that principal untouched and just keep drawing this off kind of the top of that account. So each year I get this in interest and I basically just live off of this. So if you're rich enough, you can have a 6-digit income just by having enough money in your account, basically. Just living off of interest. And so how rich do you have to be? What amount do you need in your account? I guess is the question. So it's going to be 6% of some amount is going to give you what, 100,000 is what we want to figure out. And so first we need to figure out how much we need. How much do we need to accumulate? So we know 6% of this is going to give me 100,000. How do I solve for A? And then once I solve for A, I'm going to go plug it back in here to find my payment. Does that make sense? It's a little bit of a weird problem. But they did give us one like it in the notes.
Wait, so on the year amount, you would put, would it be infinite for forever? Or would it be 30 from when you're 30 to when you retire?
So for the year amount, okay. So how are we solving A? I guess that's the first thing, right? If we want to solve for A, I think we got to take that 100,000. And if we multiply by 0.6, I think we're dividing this by 0.6. So for my A, I think I'm getting 666.67. So this is the goal, right? This is my accumulated amount. I'm plugging it in here. And what you're saying, yeah, the Y should be for the 30 years is what you have to save up to this. After we save this up, we can draw this out forever. This is just the interest. We'll be getting this amount. We'll be getting 100,000 basically. If we save up this amount, we'll be getting 100,000 annually from our interest.
Okay, thank you.
And like this will just stay the same amount in our account each year. It's not going to go up. It's not going to go down. And it's still 6% interest. We have our A. We know our N is 12. We know our Y is 30. That sounds right.
I'll
I
be
would
right
say-
back. Get
oh.
something to eat.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
was gonna say you have to be careful with how you put your exponents in here. If you don't multiply them first, you definitely want to put some parentheses around there if you're putting it into like some sort of device. Otherwise, it's just going to take this first exponent, right? And then it's going to look at this as being multiplied by the base is what it's going to do. So you got to kind of be careful. I would probably just multiply them through if I'm being honest. It saves a lot of time. Once you get really good with your device, maybe. And I'm going to take. That seems off. I'm going to go with it. I don't know where to go. Let me resume. Totally logged out on by accident. Okay, I'll give you all about 10 more seconds. I think most of y'all are answering it, right? Clear my annotations. Lose the annotation bar. All right, I think that's pretty good. Amount of time. What are y'all getting? 16:59. Did I get that right? What are y'all telling me? Yeah, it puts this thing like right in the middle. 7:59. Okay. Someone didn't round it to the nearest dollar, but it got it right. All right, so this is what I was saying. We have 0.6% of some total amount. We want to just skim off the interest. So we want something that's going to give us 100,000 in interest. Ooh, excuse me. That total amount is going to be, what is that? 1,606,666. And we have 6% interest. This is the amount we're going to save up to. We're dividing by 12 months. Same thing here, 0.06 over 12. 12 times y, which is 30. And we're subtracting 1. If you multiply those top numbers through, I believe you get something like 833, 33.335. 12 times 30 gives me 360. We divide these two numbers, it gives me 0.005. I do 1.05 to the 360, it gives me the 6 point some junk number. And then I'm going to subtract it by 1, so it's going to give me 5 and some junk number. I'm going to divide those two numbers, and it should give me something like 1659. questions, comments, complaints, quandaries, concerns, any of the aforementioned above. Are we good with this one?
Gosh darn it, I missed it.
Did you miss this one?
Yes. My phone decided, let's turn into flashlight. Thank you. I got it.
Okay, what are we doing now? Oh, now we're getting into total and annual returns. This is good stuff. So now I think we're going to start using those other formulas. And then we'll come back. Don't worry. We'll get enough practice with all of them. So 5 years after buying 100 shares of XYZ stock for $60 per share, you sell them for $9,400. What's the total return to 2 decimal places? So this should be in a percent. And I talked about it at the beginning of the lesson, but this is just new minus old divided by old. We had this. This was relative difference. So we're just taking a relative difference. Where are we starting? 100 shares for $60 per share. How much money you got in them shares? That's how much you started with. This is how much you end with. So you might have to do a little bit of calculating to find the principal. But I believe the accumulated amounts, you're right, they are given to you. And we want to round that to 2 decimal places. So make it a percentage. Round it to 2 decimal places. Put your percent sign. So this one I hope takes you like 1 minute at most. Maybe you got to multiply what, 100 by 60 to get 6,000 is where we're starting. We're going to end at 9,400. And we're doing a relative difference of the 2 things. So we did, I don't even know how many sections of relative differences. Long. Yeah, good. 6,000 to 9,400. Find the relative difference of those 2 things. Oh, man. You're going to break my heart on this problem, aren't you? Oh, boy. I can look at response G's now. I didn't realize that before I even ended it. Okay. Should definitely be a percentage. It's 2 decimal places. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Like this, yeah. I can't spend forever on this problem. Like if you're not getting this by now, like you should be asking questions. I don't know how to be nice about that. But like we've done sections and sections and sections.
Oh gosh, dang it! I was right the first time.
Yeah, I think some people rounded it maybe to like not the right place, which is fine. Like I don't care too much. But like you should be getting 56.67. If you're not getting this,
I got like 150.667 or something.
all right. So what did you
I
do?
went wrong somewhere.
That's the new, that's the old. If we subtract those
That's where
two,
I went wrong. I did 600. Oops.
we should be getting that over that. That's the relative difference. We convert that to a percentage, that's 56.67%.
My bad.
So as long as you told me something in that ballpark, I'd be happy. But yeah, we've done those and we've done those over and over again. And they're gonna come up. They'll come up over and over again. So if you're not getting it, I don't know what to tell you. Like time
Wait,
to ask
isn't this
questions.
the same problem?
It is, but now we're doing annual returns instead of total. So now we have a funky formula. This is A divided by P. We have an exponent of 1 over Y. This is a fractional exponent. If it gives you a good even decimal, it might be worth converting it to decimal. But we want to go 5 years after buying, what are we doing? $6,000 in shares, and then we sell them for $9,400. So I believe my A and P are still the same. The new variable that they introduced is Y, so I got to pull off, I believe, 5 years from this problem. So I do A divided by P. Or I do 1 over 5 first to get a decimal. Or I be sure to put parentheses around it, one or the other. Oh man, and I know the other class is having trouble, but like move it 2 decimal spots to convert from decimal to percentage. If you got to multiply by 100, do that. But like, please convert to percentage, right? People give me like crazy things on this that were way too high. They moved it too many decimal spots or too little. And this should also be a percentage. It doesn't say, you might notice the formula doesn't tell you to convert it to percentage, but they want a percent.
Did you say 5 years?
It should be 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. Should be rounding this thing up. These like it's going slow today, man. Y'all need to get some coffee or something because like this is like a 3-step problem. There's like 3 little calculations you have to do in here. There's like no reason it should take you over a few minutes, you know. 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes. Okay. I don't know, man. So 9.39 should be what you're getting somewhere in there. I think some people just round it to the wrong spot. Okay. So we're doing annual returns. We're doing accumulated over principal, 1 over y. So if you want to do 1 over 5, you're going to have to put this in your calculator in parentheses. If not, you want to put it as like maybe a decimal. It might be a little easier to put into your calculator. But if I divide these 2 numbers and raise it to the 1/5 power, I should be getting something like 1.093944. And if I subtract 1, that gives me the, what, 9.39%? Come on, next bullet. 9.39%. Ooh. Any questions? Yes, lots. No. I always feel like a little bit like David S. Pumpkins when I asked that. Any questions? 3 years after paying this amount for shares in a startup company, you sell them for this amount. They are trying to tell you this is at a loss. We still want to do new minus old divided by old. So if it's a loss, they're trying to give you like a hint at what sort of number you should be getting. If you're losing money, it's not in the positive, in the black, it's going to be in the red. So this, we want to convert this to a percentage. Don't forget that sign that goes in front that indicates it is a loss. Round it to 2 decimal places. Round it up, it looks like. So this.
So this percentage is going to be in to 2 decimal places?
Yes, as a percentage to 2 decimal places. This should take you like 1 minute, maybe. Oh, man. I think there's something, well, I guess you got to get it. You got to be getting stuff correctly and be doing good and be on top of stuff. But like, there's something really kind of comforting about like math and problem solving in general. I don't know. There's a lot of problems in the world. So like, can't solve them all, but here's something you can solve, right? I know it's like it is a psychological phenomenon, you know. I know it exists in other things. There's something comforting about it. Y'all are like, no. But yeah, there is sometimes. It is work. I'm not going to deny that. But it is one of the most rewarding things I've done in my life. So. I don't know. I always kind of draw analogies to music. That's a little long enough. Oh, come on. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing here. But it didn't seem like you are doing class. I don't know what you are doing. So if you're not going to do this, I wish you could log out of this program. Being honest. If you're not getting this, then now's the time to ask questions. It's kind of ridiculous, man. Like, it's a relative difference. It should be something that y'all like take 1 minute to do. It should not be super long. And y'all are just like, I don't understand the approach to this class, if I'm being quite honest, by some people. Like, this class lasts as long as it's going to last, like as long as we have the work in front of us that we're going to do. Like, you know, like, why are you taking forever to do the work when we could get it done? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's like you're making the class drag on longer than it has to. You're making yourself do more math by not being active and not participating. You're making things harder on yourself, and it doesn't make sense to me. And not only on yourself, but it also makes it a little bit harder on me because I got to be here longer. And then it takes me longer to get your stuff graded and get feedback to you. Like, everything else, like, it kind of hinges on you being here and active in class. And when you don't do that, it really hinders the class and hinders everything. So if you start failing, this is the first thing I'm going to look at. Were you active in class? Did you come to class? Because if you didn't do those two things, you didn't put in an effort towards the class, you know, as far as I'm concerned. And so if you're not going to work with me, you know, it kind of goes the other way. I'm not going to work with you because you're obviously not doing the class. So sorry to rant in front of people that are doing the right thing for the most part, probably, right? But there you have it. I don't know. It's going to come back to bite you, not me, is what I'm trying to say for the most part. So do what you want. For the most part, you're in college. But if you're not going to take the aptitude to your own education, then that's your fault at that point. I can sit here and I can explain all the wonderful things we can do with math. I can explain why it's the best thing out there. But I can try to motivate you as much as I can.
In in-person classes, did y'all just do it on paper?
We didn't do homework in in-person classes. They did homework on their own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm doing like all this work to get these quizzes done and everything. And then like people don't do the quizzes. It's like I'm not trying to like really rant here, but like I'm like, don't get paid that much for this job. I get paid like 20 to 25K for this job. And like,
You should get paid more.
y'all do reviews, so if you think I should get paid more, that's a good place to put it. But yeah, so like I'm doing work to get these things done, and then people aren't active. I don't know what to do, you know. It's like, and then I say, well, if you have questions, ask questions. I'm not gonna go hunt you down in class and say, hey, so and so. I'm not gonna be like, hey, Grace, what are you doing answering this problem? That's not the way this works. You're in college. Like, take some initiative in your own education. Like, I don't know if you noticed it, but look out there. Like, it is messed up world. And part of that is because people just shove people along, right? Political sort of stuff. Not to get too in depth with it, but favoritism is a big sort of problem. So if you want to be part of the world, if you want to be active in making positive changes in the world, this is stuff you have to learn. If you don't know this stuff, you're acting irresponsibly in the world, you know, to some degree. You don't understand how the world operates around you and you want more power in the world. It doesn't make sense, right? You gotta be, I don't know. Not only that, like if you don't know this stuff, it puts you more prone to being manipulated. You know, this learning protects you from exploitation. Yeah, that's enough of a rant. But make sure you put these in the right direction. We're doing annual returns, so we are doing this formula. We are going from what, 35 to 2000, and we're doing it in 3 years. So make sure you put your A and your P in the right direction. Make sure you round to 2 decimal places and convert it to a percent.
I'm struggling with the -1 aspect of it. So were we supposed to like add one before as part of the?
Here?
Yeah, like on the annual return, like is it? I'm just confused about it.
So you do A divided by P. You do the -1 at the very end.
Okay.
And so previously we got a negative number for our total return. And it's kind of a hint, but it should also go down here as well, right? Each year it's also going down.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you should be getting it, yeah. So if that's what's throwing you off, it should be negative as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going back to my rant a little bit, but I'll try not to. But if you want to talk about, inequality, mathematics and statistics are going to be the language that you use to talk about inequality, right? So if you're here to make the world a better place, you gotta learn math. I don't know how to say it. If not, you're just kind of expecting, like, I don't know. Okay, we got to move on. This should be getting this done with.
Okay, I am clearly doing something wrong, and I am not entirely sure what I'm doing.
Okay, so this is the annual return. We're doing A over P to 1 over Y. Are you doing 2,000 over 35?
Yes, I am.
You doing?
I also did the 1 over 3 as well on the side.
Did you put this in parentheses?
Yes, I did.
I know what I did wrong now. I did the reverse. And then
So
my calculator decided to die, and I'm scrambling to look for the charger.
So yeah, like I was saying, I think one of the more common mistakes I see is like people don't put parentheses. And so what your calculator is going to do is it's going to take that to the first power and then divide that by 3. right? It's not going to read it as being all in the exponents. So you definitely got to make sure you put parentheses around that. Did you get this number and this number? Hopefully, if you raise that number to that number.
No, I didn't, but I just put it in again and I realized my mistake. I like put it all together as one instead of like separately.
Yeah, see, sometimes it helps to do these things in parts in your calculator, not to do them all at one time, because sometimes your calculator doesn't do the thing in the order that you think it's going to do it. But if we do this number to this number, we get this number. And then we have to subtract 1 from it. It's going to give me a negative 0.17. I round that to 2 decimal places, or move it 2 decimal places and round it. And I should be getting a negative, what, 17? 0.02. Questions? We're getting this one? So these are things you should be able to do. I feel like these are the easier formulas from this section. Total return, you should probably be able to do total return without even a formula, but we'll do it. Okay, so now we're doing stock quotes. Oh man, this is going to be 30 seconds, and if you take any longer, I'm going to yell at you. What is this ticker symbol for this guy? Wow. Whew. Ah! Okay. Oh man, y'all are killing me. What's the ticker symbol for that thing? I am not spending one more second on this. Y'all need to come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Hey, for reals, I don't know. I'm looking at the picture and for some reason I can't find it.
Ticker symbol.
What?
How would you look up the stock? What is it called? It's called Intel Corporation, but what's the symbol you're going to use? Right there. It's the thing that comes right after the name.
The dollar? Wait, what? Ugh. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Right there. Right there.
Okay, the INTC. That one?
Oh, man. Yep. You're giving way too much already. Yeah, that's your ticker symbol. It's just an abbreviation. It's usually the same letters as what's in the name. Somewhat. Not always. Everything's owned by like what, 5 corporations anyway, I think. These are all like they're all like conglomerates of the same.
I think I was expecting like an actual symbol, not an acronym.
Answer the following. Okay. What is this? What was the price on the previous day? I believe is what this one is. I'll give you a hint. This is what the price is when we looked at it. This is the change from the previous days. So it went up 24 cents to be at this number. So if it went up 24 cents, I'm already giving you too much. This should be a dollar amount, so don't forget to put your dollar sign. And tell me what that should be. So if we're going up 24 cents to get here, it used to be. This is how many people we got. I think it's been like 10 people. It's like at least 2 or 3 that are just like, I think haven't answered anything. It's just like, I don't know, man. All right, so what'd y'all get? 35.24? It went up 24 cents. We take away 24 cents, we should be at 35.24. Based on the current price, what is the total value of the shares that have been traded so far today? So the current price is this 35.48 we were talking about. And I did this in the notes, but this is the change from the previous day. This volume is the amount of shares that got traded today. This 47.09 million is the total number of shares that the company has. And then they look over 52 weeks, they give you the high and the low. They give you the open, the high, and the low for the day. Market cap. Oh, man, I think I went over it. I don't remember what it is. P to E ratio, we'll talk about that in a second. Dividends. This is how much they earned in the last quarter. This is the percent that we'll use. So this is the price of the stock. And I think this is the number of stocks that got traded so far today. And so I think this should be a money amount. And I think to the nearest dollar. Okay, so if we have this many stocks, this is the price of the stock. How much are the stocks worth? Is that a crazy question? Yeah. If it's 10 cents per apple and we get 10 apples, how many apples, how much money in apples are we spending? Same thing here, right? This is one step. So I'm not really sure why two people have answered it. Maybe they got tired of me griping at them. I don't know. I guess 8 people are comfortable with pissing in bottles for the rest of their life. I don't know. That's horrible. Okay. Well, what are we doing? Are y'all like zoning out? Should I only wait for 8 people? Like, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Should I only wait for 8 people to answer it from now on? Because this is something you should do. Like, this is not, I don't know why it's still taking this long to do problems. Just being honest. Like, I'm not trying to stay here all day. Like, I don't mind staying extra if we need it, but like, this is ridiculous. You multiply this number by this number to get the total number, the total price of the shares. I think I probably highlighted enough of that out to probably get there, but there we go. If I didn't, no one asked questions, so I don't really know what you're thinking.
So Does it explain how to do that problem?
I kind of explained like this is the price per share and this is the number of shares that got traded today. So how do we find out the price, the value of the shares that got traded today?
Like a visual?
What do you mean? Oh, the next slide, yeah. So we're just multiplying those two numbers. This is the price per share. This is the total number of shares. It should give you that number if you multiply those two numbers.
I guess I put in the wrong number because like my mind was like, wait, which number? Because all I heard was shares, so I'm like, I put in that number.
I think we're gonna do that in a second. What percentage of all Intel shares have been traded so far today? So I think then we might pull up that number now. This is the number that got traded today. This is the total number of shares that they have. It should be a percentage. Let me see. Yeah, 2 decimal places should be a percentage. Probably a really small percent.
What numbers are we looking at? I know we're looking at the outstanding shares, right?
So this is the total number of shares that Intel has. This is the number of shares that they've traded today. So what percentage of shares have they traded today?
The numbers I confused last time.
So what percent is this of this, is what they're saying, basically.
So is it 4,709,000?
It's
That's
where-
4,000.
But it says millions.
So it should be 4,709,000,000.
Okay.
So this would put it into the billions. We still need 6 zeros behind this if we want to convert it. Millions. Oh man. So basically, what percent is this number of this number?
I kept getting a number in the thousands. I know I did something wrong, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, me too.
This number, and you add 3 more zeros over here, and you divide it. Should give you a really small number, and then you got to multiply that by.
I didn't add the zeros.
Got to divide by what? Or multiply by 100 to get it to a percent.
Oh yeah, yesterday was Easter. Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah, happy late Easter.
Belated
It's
Easter.
Easter Monday though, ain't it? That's the thing.
No, it's Easter,
It's Easter
Sunday.
Sunday.
It says Easter Monday.
It was yesterday.
It says
I
Easter
got
Sunday and it says Easter Monday, so I don't know.
Yeah,
A
what?
marshmallow legless sheep.
Okay, I know I'm doing something wrong because for some reason I keep getting big numbers. I put the zeros at the end, but I don't know what's going on.
That one's in millions, the other one's not. So there's this number by itself and then this number with the zeros.
All right.
Yeah, I mean trying to figure out like I don't know, man. People not answering aren't telling me I'm going too fast or going too slow. So it's kind of hard to tell whether they're here or just not being active, you know?
I'm trying and my brain is halfway fried.
No, I know you. I know the people that are here and active, and you're one of them. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about these people that stay gray forever. Whatever. I guess they don't get to be bright like us. They can stay gray.
If I had divided it by 100, I would have been right. Who knew?
Okay. So I think I'm getting 0.22%. That is coming from dividing those two numbers. I still got to move it 2 decimal spots. It is a fraction of a percent. It is not very big. And what's the next thing they ask? We have 100 shares. It is the current price in dividend yield. What dividends should you expect to receive this year? Oh, excuse me. So we want to do what, 100 shares? Got my text. And we know that they are 35.48 per share is what it's telling me. And I know my dividend yield is 3.07% of that. So the first thing I think we want to do is find out how much I have in the value of this stock. So if I have 100 shares and they're each 35.48, how much money do I have in this stock? If this is the number of shares, this is the price per share. And then after I figure out how much money I have in the stock, my dividend is going to be this 3% of it. So do 3.07% of whatever number you get. And I think I rounded this to the nearest cent. Is that what it says? Yeah, so this one, it should, we're not doing big complicated formulas. You should be able to get this to the nearest cent. Where are we at? 6 people. That's pretty good. Like, I don't feel like I'm going too fast. I feel like it's the other way around. Am I going too fast?
I think you're going at an okay speed.
Yeah, I think this is a good speed of moving.
I feel like I'm going slow, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like we should be substantially like further in these notes. But
how does one know which numbers to use? That's the better.
These ones are, yeah, I don't. So if you're doing 100 shares and the last is 35.48, you should be getting 35.48 total value, right? What are we saying? 92. Where are these numbers from?
I thought I was following the right instructions. I was wrong. I think I plugged in the wrong numbers or something.
Yeah, I think I plugged in the wrong numbers too. I just like didn't know which numbers to use.
Yeah.
It should be 100 and they're 35.48 a share. You're getting what? 35.48 in
You know how
stocks.
to divide a yield.
And you know the dividend is what? 3%? So if we're doing 3% of 35.48, we should be getting something like
So we're supposed to
108.92.
use the week high.
No, you use the last amount. That's what I said. This is the amount that we're using for our share. This is the current price.
Oh, okay. Damn, economical numbers are confusing.
These are like the open, high, and the low of the day, but they're not the current price. This is the current price. It's generally what we'll use when you go get a share is you're looking at the current price because they fluctuate so much throughout the day. It's like you got to look at the current price. And so now we get another question. What were the earnings per share for Intel? And so we're still using the current price on this one. This tells me P divided by E is what, 15.4? And so if I know my price is 35.48, I'm probably giving you too much information. How do I figure out what E is? That's what we have to do here. We know the price. We know the price divided by earnings ratio. And now we want to find out what the earnings would be. And this should be a dollar amount to the nearest cent. I don't even want to say it, man. Because I know what I'll get.
Looks like we lost people.
Yeah, I don't know what to do, man. I ask for input. I ask for things. I can only do so much. I can only talk to you, and then like if you're not gonna talk back to me, like there's two ways I communicate with you. One of them is verbally, and one of them's physically with your grade. So
I think some people probably like had somewhere to be.
Yeah, I mean it is 4:30.
Yeah.
I'm just home and my
Yeah,
brain.
I'm like, I got nothing better to do. I might as well stay in class.
Exactly, and work on.
You know, make sure I got my homework questions correct.
Yeah, I mean that's what I don't understand. Like we know what questions we're gonna do. I don't know why people drag it out. Like it doesn't make any sense to me why you would drag this out.
Mm.
Like, and I know that's not y'all because I can see you already answered, right?
I think I got it, and then I saw you dividing, and I was like, oops. I'm living on Pez.
Like, and I don't know what to do. Do I not like post to the videos online afterwards? Because like class participation is just crap. I don't know how to say it nicely, but it's crap.
Well, I go back. And
Are people? Yeah. See, I don't want to like. I don't want to. Yeah. Because I know people that are actually here honest and
Yeah, I definitely go back when I'm like.
See, I know y'all go back and look at them.
Yeah, especially when like tests come up, I'm just like, okay, I don't remember how to do this. Let me go back to this day.
Yeah, I'm not trying to penalize y'all for other people's mistakes. You know, it's like I'm not trying to be that guy, but
You're a fun guy. Just
doesn't
my
seem like a viable option. Thank you. All right, so I think is there one more person waiting?
I think that's all of them.
yeah.
There's 7
there's
participants
6
left.
If anybody else needs some time, let me know. But I think I'm just gonna go for 7 from now on.
Yeah, that's how many are left in this class. So
Yeah.
No, 7 participants. Including
Yeah,
the
that's right.
professor, so that's
I
6
didn't
of
even
us.
look at that.
Well, gosh darn it. I forgot to put the dollar sign. I was correct, but
All right, so it is 230.
I multiplied instead of divided.
All right, so this next slide, it's kind of like these two things multiplied to this number. There's a few ways you can do it. You can multiply by p both sides and then divide by 15.4. You basically, if you have two numbers that multiply to one number, their product, right? It's kind of like the product of these two numbers is going to be this thing. We can kind of swap them out. It doesn't matter which one. So if you see something like this, there's kind of a cheap shortcut. The other thing you could do is what? Divide by 1. That might also be something you could do is like divide by 1 and do the butterflies. So if you want to do that, there's a few ways you can do it, but this is basically 35.48 divided by 15.4 will give you $2.30. So if we make $2.30 per share, the next question I think is going to ask how much did they earn throughout the year? So how much total profit did Intel earn in the past year? So this is bringing up the fact, we want to bring up the fact that we made 230. This is my earnings. And if I earn this per share and Intel had that many million shares, how many shares are you going to have? Okay, so I know your calculator is probably going to give you something in scientific notation for this one, but we really want to convert it. 10 decimal places? Jesus. Okay. Five. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. I think I put that one in there too. I'm just gonna put that in there. If you round it to the nearest millions, I think it'll count it correct. If you round it to the nearest, I think 100,000s or something. I think I'll also put that in there because that's what my calculator gives me accuracy to.
All right, I'm a little confused on this one.
All right, so we're making $2.30 per share. Or that's what they're making, and they have what, 4 billion shares? So how much total money would they be making if this is the amount of shares they have and they're making $2.30 per share? $2.30 is coming from the previous part F.
Oh, I'm sorry. You take 230 and multiply it by the shares outstanding?
Yep, that's it.
I'm sorry.
And you just do this, it's got to be in millions. So be sure to put your zeros. It should give you an obnoxiously large number. Like times 10 to the 10th or something. That's what I got. 1.08307 times 10 to the 10th. Is that what we are getting?
Okay.
Yeah, hit submit. Hit submit. All right. So 10,830. I think it should round it up to 831 probably, but it's like 10 billion. And I kind of mentioned it, but it's just you're multiplying these two numbers together. My calculator gives me this crazy thing, 830, should say 7. That should be a 7 there, not a 1. And we move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. I need 5 zeros in.
I had it right the first time.
So what is that, 10
Then
billion?
I second guessed. And I put in the wrong answer.
Which seems about right. If you have about 5 billion shares and you're making about $2 per share, you're making about $10 billion. So you may be doing some roundabout approximations, might help. So this one's got a two-parter. First, we want to answer how much were the earnings per share? Oh man, so we did this one already with the previous one with the table, but now they're just giving us information. IBM closes at, this is my price per share. My price to earning ratio is 12.49. So how do you find your earnings? If this is my P to E, write that ratio. P divided by E equals this thing. Fill in your P for your price, find your earnings. Should be a dollar amount to the nearest cent, I believe. Okay. And then we're going to answer a really quick question right after this. Does it seem overpriced, underpriced, priced about right?
So P would be 151.
Yeah, 151.98. That's it. We're dividing that by E to get to here. How do we find E? So we did something, we did this exact kind of problem previously, just with the table instead of it being given to us verbally. So I think what we're doing is what? Dividing. So if we take 151.98, we divided it by what? 12.49 to find our earnings. Where are we at? Did we get one more person drop out? Falling asleep. If we take 151.98 and we divide it by, what's that? 12.49, what are we getting? Should be getting, I forgot what I said, 12 something? 12.17.
I had it right again, and then I messed up.
And now we're asking, well, same question. Whoops. The earnings is 151.98. We're dividing it by 12.49 to get 12.17. And part B. Historically, they range from 12 to 14. And so if it's 12.49, does that seem overpriced, just right, or underpriced? I guess Goldilocks came in this problem. Oh, come on. Is that in the 12 to 14 range? Is it over? Is it under? It should be right in that range. It's 12 and some change. It's right between 12 and 14. It seems reasonably priced. Oh man, what y'all doing? Now we have a mutual fund. So this you're going to find just sort of like, I don't have that formula sheet, but it's going to be like you're compounding things once per year. And so if they say, what do they say? They want to know, we invest 5,000 in a fund a day. How many shares will you buy? Okay, so this one is simpler than finding that. If we have these, what is it? Vanguard Limited Term Tax Exempt Fund. All right. There's your ticker symbol for it. This is how much your mutual fund is what this thing is worth now. So if we have $5,000, how many of these are they shares? Yeah, they're also called shares. How many shares of these mutual fund would you have? And they want us to round it to 2 decimal places. So this should be a number of shares. If you have this amount of money and each one of them costs this amount, how many of those are you going to buy? And you can buy fractional shares. That may or may not be an option. But here it is.
In this situation, the share can't be a decimal, right? It has to be a whole number.
No, you can buy fractional shares actually.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Thanks.
Yeah, and here they allow that. So round it to 2 decimal places. That's what the book did. I don't know. They rounded it to 2 decimal places. So it depends who your broker is or how you're buying your stock. I know you can buy fractional stocks, and I suppose mutual funds are probably the same. But that also depends upon which one you're doing too. It depends upon a lot of things. But here they'll allow it. So again, this one should take you like a few seconds, if I'm being honest. We have a total amount of money. We're dividing that money into the stocks that are what, 5,000 divided into a stock that costs $10.99. How many of those stocks are you going to buy? We're dividing them. So hopefully you divide those numbers, 5,000 divided by 10.99. 454.96, I think is what I'm getting. Okay, and now I think we do the thing that looks like compound interest, sort of.
Wait, I missed the quick little review for the last slide. What numbers did it say you were supposed to divide again?
We're dividing 5,000 by the 10.99 per share.
Okay.
To get 454.96. Suppose you invest 5,000. How much would it be worth in 5 years? Is basically what this is asking. If I start out with 5,000, and this is sort of like my annualized return, my APR. And it's sort of like it's being compounded once per year. So that makes maybe a little bit easier. How much will I end up with? So you might have to go back, look at that formula sheet. And what I do, the nearest cent. I think it should look like what? Principal is 5,000. I'm doing 1 plus my APR to the number of years. What was that formula? Like principal 1 plus APR to the Y there. It might be capital Y. That formula should look something like that. Okay. Oh, we'll get out of here. All right, there we are. Let's go. What are y'all doing? 53, 20, 41. How come I don't get that?
Yeah, I think I just did the wrong. What's the word? Process? I'll go with process.
So the principal is 5,000. If I do this 1.0125 to the fifth, 1.0125 to the fifth is giving me what? 1.06, and I multiply that by 5,000. I should begin that 53, 20, 41. Doing the same thing, but now I want to go 10 years. Suppose you had invested 5,000 in this fund 10 years ago. How much would it be worth now? So this should look very similar, except instead of 5, I think I'm plugging in 10 instead of 1.25. Should be plugging in 0.0245, right? I also kind of worry that, like, you know, I don't know. Coming from high school, I'm wondering whether people think they won't fail a class. I'm just being honest. In college, they'll let you fail. Ask me how I know. Oh, come on, person. What are y'all doing to me? Ugh.
I was right.
Did you get it right, or did you change it? 63, 69, 27 is what we should be getting if we plug in those numbers. And so
Yeah,
looking,
I got that. I just didn't include change.
oh, you got it. That's good. I'm happy for you. Be happy for yourself. Getting started early. So in this problem, they're trying to compare Mitch and Bill. They are both 75 years old, whatever. And so when Mitch was 25 years old, he started depositing $1,000 per year into a savings account he deposits for the first 10 years, at which point he will stops making payments. But he just leaves the money there and it just accrues interest for the next 40 years. So what this is sounding like is Mitch has a savings account. We're going to end up with an amount from that savings account. And then he's just going to Rip Van Winkle that amount that he saved for 40 years. So I think we're going to have to do a savings account for 10 years and a Rip Van Winkle compound interest account for 40 years. Bill's the other guy. He didn't start saving until he was 45, but he saved for 30 years, and he did a savings account for $1,000. His sounds a little bit simpler, maybe. Assume that both accounts earned an average annual return of 5% compounded once a year. So that makes it a little simpler. We don't have to divide by n. N is just 1. How much money does Mitch have in his account at age 75? So Mitch, again, we're going for 10 years in a savings plan. So it tells me my payment is $1,000. You're right, annotation tools. And what was it, 30 years of a compound?
Well, are we going to have to calculate the interest made like while he was depositing it?
What do you mean? Because if we have this formula, this is calculating the interest. The interest is put into here, right?
Okay.
And so this is going to give us both the payments and this amount like crunches out our interest basically, if that makes sense. So you should be accruing more money than you're actually sticking in a savings account, right? Because of interest. And so I think we have to do 10 years of saving of putting what, $1,000 in, and they say it's at 5% annual interest. So I think we got enough money or enough information to put into here. We're going 10 years in this account, and then whatever we do, we have to compound it for 30 years. Kind of like a simple compound, or not simple, but compound interest. So I think we're gonna have to do 2 things here. So this one's pretty involved. The next one's a little bit easier. But again, I don't expect you to get everything correct. I like give it a try. See where you end up. And then we'll go over it. I think my payments are $1,000. I think this might be the first time we use that one on the left. My APR is 5% going once per year. I'm doing this one for 10 years. They give us pretty numbers here, at least. Am I doing the nearest dollar amount here, I believe? Yeah, nearest dollar amount. Pretty sure. Oh, no, that's not the final thing. $30 years of compounding 5%. That looks more correct. So I kind of said it, but this should be giving us like an accumulated amount when I plug it into this thing. My accumulated amount here is going to be becoming my principal in this one, if that makes sense. So whatever I get from my accumulated amount here, I'm going to end up using as a principal to find 30 years compounding at 5%. It's just compounded. He just leaves it there. He Rip Van Winkles it, is what he's doing. Looks really funky without. Okay, so I think it looks like most people have answered something. If you got 20-something thousand, you did half of the problem. That sounds such a weird noise, man. It just sounds like it's incorrect. When it does that. It is incorrect. Okay. What did I get? 88548. What did I do wrong? I didn't get this one correct.
Awesome. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
So we're doing 10 years.
This
Oh,
question has
40 years. I did
all
the
of
wrong
us.
thing. I did the wrong amount of years. So sorry. It should be 40 years that he's doing the other one. Is that right?
So it's 40. Gosh dang it, I used 10.
Yeah, because he's doing 50 years total. Sorry, I did. Yeah, it should be 10 years first, and then it should be 40. I said 30 previously. Y'all didn't correct me. I don't know what to tell you. So if we want to do a savings account, we're going to do a savings account for 10 years. This simplifies really quick. Like this is just 0.05. This is 1.05 to the 10th minus 1 divided by 0.05. Then we got to multiply by 1,000. So I do 1.05 to the 10th. And then I subtract 1 and divide it by 0.5, gives me this crazy 12 number. So if you got 12,577.89, you did half of it. We got to take that and go plug it back in, excuse me, for 40 more years into something that looks like, move this out of the way, here we go. 40 more years, something that looks like compound, simple compound interest. I should quit saying simple, it's compound. And so we compound that interest for 40 years, we get 88,548.
Do not do anything. No. No. No.
Do you need the previous problem?
Yes.
All right.
Sorry, things fell.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So, and now we're finding what Bill's the next one. Bill's a little bit easier. He's just like a latecomer. And so we're comparing basically this guy is doing a savings account for 10 years and then he's Rip Van Winkling it for 40 years. Sorry. Bill doesn't start till later. This is where the 30 came into my brain. He's doing a savings account for 30 years. So we got to do a savings account. It is basically the same account. Everything else is the same. He's paying $1,000, I believe, the same amount. Yeah, he's paying the same amount in payments. He's paying the same PR. It's doing it for once per year. But now he's doing it for 30 years. Okay, nearest dollar amount. 5% interest once per year. Okay. Do we only have 6 people now that are being active? This is like really annoying, man.
I think we went down one.
Yeah.
My question is, how do we still have 15 people on the quizzes thing?
Because it doesn't log them out when they log out. Which is kind of annoying. It should. If they're not going to be here. I wish it let me log people out, to be honest. Because if you're just like not answering.
Like a kick button?
If you're not answering, you're just being a real pain in the butt and an inconvenience to me and in the class. Like, I don't know how to be nice about it, but just like.
There should be a kick out button. Maybe, we all need to send an email to this website and just be like, hey, can we get a kick button, please?
Maybe.
I
Is there?
would vote yes on this kick button. And I'm happy I got it right this time.
Yay!
Yeah, this one's a little bit more doable, a little bit easier. The other one's a little crazy, but
My
like it is a
brain
homework problem.
is living on pins.
Yeah.
You should be able to do it because for homework, right? And you should probably get it wrong once and then go back and check it and see what you did wrong and fix it up. But it is doable, right? It's not completely undoable. Like you can't understand it, basically. Nothing should be that crazy. And if it is, ask questions. Okay, so now I think, what do they want? Compare the amounts of money that Mitch and Bill deposited in their accounts. So Mitch deposited. So Mitch went for 10 years, depositing $1,000. So if I go for 10 years and I deposit $1,000 each year, how much total money have I deposited? Don't rack your brain too much with this thing. I'm doing 10 payments of $1,000 is what I'm doing. I'm going to give you 15 seconds for this, probably. If I do 10 payments of $1,000, how much have I paid? Oh, what are you doing? There we go. $10,000. And then the other guy, Bill, went for 30 years doing the same thing. So how much money is Bill going to have? It should be 10,000. He made 10 payments of $1,000. He's going to have 10,000. If Bill makes 30 payments of $1,000, how much money will he have invested? Oh man, come on, this is a 10-second problem. 30 payments of $1,000 is 30,000. Oh, what are y'all doing, man? 30 payments of $1,000. Write a paragraph summarizing your conclusions about this parable. So in your conclusion, I hope you include, start saving early. Yeah, so basically, I don't remember the same amounts. But looking back at those amounts, Mitch had way more than Bill had. And if we look, Bill actually paid more money than Mitch did. Mitch paid $10,000, Bill paid $30,000. So you should mention how much money they both have. You should mention how much they invested. And yeah, that's it. So you should include those money amounts in there. I think in the book they do relative differences between the two and absolute differences to compare the amounts. That's also a really good way to compare the amounts. I don't have them in front of me. I thought I put them on the slide, but I guess I didn't. But you might notice, basically, I think Mitch has more money, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot whether you put into savings or to a compounded interest. It doesn't matter as much on where you put it as much as it matters that you start investing earlier. Basically, Mitch was the first one. He put less money in, but he gave it more time, and he ended up with more money. It's also exponential growth. So the further
this time out, I'm like, no, you asked me for a paragraph.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to do a full. You don't have to write a full paragraph on here. I expect you to write something in your written work, is why I kind of put that on there. Just to kind of tell you what I'm expecting written wise. Company research, choose one of the three. This is the final one. So this is something you're going to have to do on your own. Go out there, go Google a company, go Robinhood. I don't know wherever you find your information. Go find a company out there, one of the 30 companies on the Dow Jones. Research them, find as much of this information as you can on them. If there's like one or two things you can't find, that's okay. But if you can find all this information, give me all this information. I just want you to go out there and look kind of like at a stock ticker, look at something that is out there in the real world. I'm going to do Tesla, fine, do Tesla. But that's it. That's all I got for you today. If you have questions, I'm here.
Thank you.
Slide. This is the last slide. So go find that information. Finish it up. Write up your homework. Stop recording.